Late 2024, Perth, Western Australia, the place that I was born. I hadn't been back for a few years, so this was a long overdue visit. The timing was also at the beginning of a transitional period that I've been in. I thought I would document the trip, unsure if I'd actually use the footage. But as it progressed, I felt like I had some stuff worth sharing. It's been a period of reflection, changes, acceptance, and reconnecting with my roots. Reconnecting with family, catching up with old friends, and making new ones. Having gone through a breakup in October, I found myself reflecting on gratitude especially, and I want to share that with you here. Appreciate the friends in your life, your family, pets, nature, and all the little things that seem normal. But for now, let's warm up with some street photography with this little session in the Perth CBD. I had the Leica MA loaded with some Ilford HP5 and using the Thypoc Eureka 50mm lens, which I've quite been enjoying when I do want a longer focal length on the street. My favourite focal length for the street is normally 35mm, but when it's a little bit quieter, I sometimes like to shoot 50 like I was here in Perth. Naturally, shooting in Perth is different when coming from a busier city like Melbourne, but it doesn't mean you can't shoot wider angle lenses if you want to, or your usual style. But I generally find myself adjusting my shooting style when going to different cities. Anyway, the plan was to catch up with my friend Cooper, who I hadn't seen in a while, and then shoot a little bit together. I switched out to the Thypoc Samero 28mm just to change things up a little bit as we continued walking through the city, shooting and just catching up. Nothing amazing in terms of shots, but it was just great to exercise the eye and to see that clear difference between the 28mm focal length and the 50. So they're very different shooting styles, and I like to try and stay sharp in different focal lengths, but generally 35 is my sweet spot.
Just got it.
We both had to head off shortly after, so I grabbed a couple of shots on my way back to the car and drove home. The following days were mostly spent relaxing, going for drives, swims at the beach, catching up with friends, family, and so on. Later in the week I headed to Cooper's for coffee and to just hang out, do a workout, and generally make fun of him for his never-ending gear acquisition syndrome.
Pushing film or pushing weights? I'm pushing weights instead. Film's gotten too expensive.
It is getting expensive, but I can't help to keep shooting it. I loaded a roll of my favourite colour negative film, Kodak Ektar, while I was there. Tuesday, 5th of November 2024. At Cooper's house, just did a good workout, and he's contemplating buying a Mamiya.
Mamiya 7.
Mamiya 7.
Contemplating buying Mamiya 7.
How many cameras did you just sell recently?
3. I just sold 3. I just sold a Leica M10, a Ricoh GR3X, and a Nikon ZF as well.
So put a comment if you think did he buy the Mamiya 7 or did he not buy it? I'm voting that he did buy it by the time you watch this video.
He's got the original box with it as well. That's nice.
Yeah, we'll see. I'll share a few more shots from my roll of Ektar with the Thypoc 50mm. As I've said previously, one of the best things about Ektar is the way it renders blues, making it such a great choice for places like the beach. So just being able to walk around in nature and take photos, to me, is a really therapeutic exercise. But another thing that's great is just being out on the road like this, driving nice quiet roads without any music on, whether it's going for a random drive with a camera in the car, heading to the beach for a swim. It's just good to disconnect sometimes. Have time to think. When did you last take time to just disconnect? I also love watching YouTube videos and spending time online. But in today's world of overstimulation, it's important to deliberately allocate time to disconnect. Maybe just walk around the neighborhood, reminisce, or spend some downtime with family and friends. On the 7th, I decided to do a little solo road trip with no particular destination in mind. So I fueled up my dad's Land Cruiser and hit the highway towards Brookton. This big, resilient four-wheel drive and the empty roads felt quite appropriate during my time here. I thought it would be cool to shoot large format on roads like this. Should I get a 4x5 camera? Maybe someday. I found some small town scenes to shoot, like this burnt down church. Walking around taking cliched film shots felt pretty sus in towns like this, even though it seemed like I was the only one around. I climbed onto the Land Cruiser's roof rack to get a higher angle of this old motel. You can see the subtle difference compared to the lower angle, which hides the tree line and brings more focus to the foreground. Note to self, don't buy a car like this. It absolutely burns through fuel. Look at this save just before my DJI slipped off the fuel pump. I headed home and spent more of the following days the same as previously. The beautiful Perth beaches, clouds and sunset make it easy to slow down. Here's a couple more shots on 35mm Ektar. These were developed and scanned by Iroha's Photo on the Noritsu, which I find can work well for Ektar. But you still need to watch for oversaturation. Towards the end of the trip, I wanted to check out Silver Halide Studios, do a mini meetup, and shoot more street in the city. Silver Halide is a really cool space with a thriving community surrounding it. I remember historically Perth having quite limited access to good labs and a much smaller film community. So it was great to see how far things had come thanks to this little space over in Mount Lawley. So to round out this vlog, I have this interview with the owners of Silver Halide, which I hope you enjoy.
Hi, I'm Amy. I am one of the owners of Silver Halide here in Perth. So we're a film lab and community, and I mainly shoot large format tintypes. Really passionate about alchemy, chemistry, in general.
And I'm Alex, one of the co-owners as well. So I grew up loving photography with like skateboarding and music and such, so I always had a really huge love for it. So I guess that brings us to now with being able to have this. This is Buddha.
The most important part of Silver Halide. He is a Swiss Shepherd. He is 12 years old now.
Yeah.
A bit of an old boy. So Silver Halide started, it's over 5 years ago now, but a lot of it was traveling to the States and Europe. Got a lot of inspiration from labs over there and a lot of community events. One place in particular was Brooklyn Film Camera. Just seeing people come together and be really passionate about film. And at the time, Alex and I I think we had 2 friends that shot film. Perth is very, very sleepy in ways, so we wanted to see if that was something that we could bring here. It has really surprised us in like a very, very positive way that we thought, like 50, 100 people in Perth shot film, and turns out it's thousands. Yeah. So we kind of started based on that and wanted to open up the lab with a community exhibition, covering all the costs so that was accessible to all. Yeah, that's kind of how it's been the last 5 years, is just
one thing led to another.
Yeah. One thing
Definitely.
led to another. And here we are, 5.5 years in.
Yeah. Hey guys, how we doing? Yeah, good. Sorry, doing a little YouTube short.
So one thing I want to ask you about is something that I've been fascinated watching from afar from Melbourne. I've been following the development of Silver Halide just vicariously through Instagram and whatnot. But it feels like the scene in Perth has grown a lot. How have you observed the film photography scene? You just mentioned it was a lot more than you thought it was. Has it also evolved since COVID?
I would say that the film photography scene in Perth and the community has definitely grown exponentially. Like it's kind of gone from, your enthusiasts that are really into film cameras and very specialized darkroom sort of printing, to now expanding to, teenagers shooting film. It's a lot more mainstream, commercial photographers, wedding photographers. It's I guess less like limited to just one type of person. It's a little bit of everyone. In every walk of life.
And what is your main, which element of what you do is the main focus moving forward that you want to put most of your energy into besides daily operations? What's most important to you?
I'd say the most important thing for us is being able to make film photography accessible to as many people as possible. With prices rising and cost of living rising, we're looking into ways to even get grants to do more community exhibitions so that we can cover all the costs. Working with a lot of brands and doing partnerships with other small businesses that have that sort of vision as well.
As much community-based things as we can, and bringing people together. I think there's a real need for people to come together, especially after something like COVID pretty much stripped all of that away. So, and that's what we found as well. Like starting this, we had no idea what it meant. There wasn't really anyone we could follow or a book on how to do it. We kind of had to learn our own sort of path with it, but then see what works and what people like and sort of work with that, whilst also doing, what we want to do our own way as well.
I think another thing as well is we're trying to make film photography and running a film lab as environmentally friendly as possible. So we're looking into a lot of ways to recycle all of the silver from film. We do it all in-house. It's a big moral thing and ethical thing for Alex and I to be able to provide that not only for our customers as a lab, but home developers as well, so they can bring their chemistry in. We'll take all the silver out and then make jewelry out of it. So that's
I love that. I saw that online, So you're trying to offset some of that impact.
Yeah.
That was cool. I think that was something we really wanted to do for a long time, and taking that off was
took 5 years.
It was good fun and just really interesting as well. So I guess for us, finding however many different avenues that are going to keep us interesting and new for people as well.
Well, that was great. So I want to come back. It's been a really great introduction. I want to thank you for having me here in Perth, and it's such a heartwarming feeling to come back to my home city and see such a thriving film scene. And you guys have been key in that, I think. So look forward to more. Maybe next time I'll bring a proper camera and we'll interview some of the other chatters, some amazing staff members inside. And I think it's just going to keep coming upwards. So if you have film to drop in, if you're in Perth, or even to send it over, you can trust these guys.
Amazing.
Right,
now we've loved having you here. Thank you.
My pleasure.
And Bud.
Sadly, Buddha passed away later in the year. During my short visit, I could already see how much he meant to Amy, Alex, the crew, and even the greater film community. With everything that I'd been going through, hearing this news hit home for me too. Pets can feel like actual family members for many, and in the grand scheme of things, 12 years feels so damn short. Life just takes unexpected turns sometimes, and you might think that you're on a certain road only to have an unexpected exit or detour just thrown at you. But I believe the best thing is to just keep on driving with your eyes on the road ahead. Remember what I said about gratitude at the beginning of the video? The news about Bud was another factor in how long it took me to release this vlog. I was still overcoming the changes in my own life and hesitant about sharing overly personal stuff. But in the end, I thought I'd make this as a reminder to myself, and hopefully to others too. Take stock of what you have in life, and practice gratitude here and there.